Every year brings a different situation, like 2020 with the pandemic, crazy inflation through 2021, and major interest rate hikes in 2023. So it's always good to ask, what can I do differently this year compared to past years with my money? In today's video, we're going to show you 12 things you can do differently with money according to one of the most popular personal finance figures, Dave Ramsey. Number 1. Don't wait to buy a home if you're ready. Real estate prices have grown significantly, but if you're waiting because you think prices will drop significantly, then you're in for a nasty surprise. According to Dave Ramsey, most data shows that prices will not drop, but will stay in this gray area for a while, because there is much more demand than supply. If the high interest rate is what's stopping you from buying a home, however, there's actually an upside. Right now, you'll be able to at least get a house without having to compete with 20 or 30 other buyers who will likely have better offers than you. To continue looking to the upside, you won't have to manage a higher interest rate mortgage for very long, as you can refinance your home when the interest rate drops. So don't wait around and take advantage of this stagnant period to buy a home. Number 2, have a fully funded emergency fund. The Dave Ramsey method is to start off with a $1,000 emergency fund while you pay off your debts. While $1,000 won't do much in terms of covering expenses, at least it's something that can assist you. Once you're debt-free, aside from your mortgage, then you can start aggressively building your emergency fund to have 3 to 6 months worth of expenses. Ramsey says that you should aim to save 15% of your income for this. An important note is that you should always make sure your emergency fund is funded. For example, if you have an emergency, like your brakes fail and you need to get it repaired, then after you make the payment, focus your savings to fill up your emergency fund back to its previous level. Number 3. Have a good motivator. Having a good motivator for saving money isn't only going to get you through the tough times, but also through the good times. It's clear how motivators help during tough times, but what about why would you need a motivator during a good time? It's during the good times that you can be led astray from your budget and start spending more than you should just because you can. Essentially, a motivator will always keep you on track no matter the situation. The question is, how do you find a good enough motivator? Dave Ramsey says that the easiest way to find a good motivator is to ask yourself what you would do if you had all the money in the world right now. Whatever the answers that come from that question, like you want a bigger house, you want to help your parents retire, or get your kids to college, are the best motivators for you to stay on track. Let us know in the comments below what your motivators are to save money and how they've helped you stay on track. Number 4, pay off debt. If you've watched anything by Dave Ramsey, chances are you've heard him speak about debt and how important it is to be free of it. As you can probably guess, debt will help you feel more freedom financially since you'll have to pay for a lot fewer things, but it also gives psychological freedom. The thought that you don't owe anyone anything and the things that you currently own in your life aren't tied to some payment is an amazingly rewarding feeling. It's important to always pay attention to what proper statistics have to say, and according to Dave Ramsey and his team, it's statistically proven that when you have no debts, you're much more likely to get rich. Bonus tip, one of the best ways to get rid of debt is through the debt snowball method. The way to do this is to gather all your debts, line them up from smallest to largest, regardless of interest rate, and pay off the smallest one ASAP. Continue up your list until your debts are totally clear. This isn't the fastest way to pay down your debt, but it's a plan that you can definitely stick to since you'll feel accomplished faster by paying off your smallest debt. Number 5, pay attention to your online spending habits. The convenience of buying things online has caused people to become major consumers. For example, how many times have you scrolled through Amazon and bought something almost instantly because of how easy it was to purchase? On the contrary, if you had to go to the store to buy the same item, would you have done it? Chances are you probably wouldn't have. A recent study has shown that between 8 and 9 p.m. are the peak hours that people purchase items online. And if you don't want to give in to those habits that are so easy to give into, then always be vigilant against your habits. Number 6, have hope. Since the pandemic in 2020, things haven't gotten any easier for anyone. In fact, they seem to just get harder and harder. This can cause people to feel totally unmotivated and really feel in a bind that they don't think they'll be able to get out of. It's possible that even some of you are in this boat. Well, I want you to know that you can do it if you keep trying. In fact, the most common characteristic of people who've finished Dave Ramsey's baby steps and become wealthy is the fact that they never wanted to give up. Life is not a constant upward slope. It's more like waves where you'll have periods of prosperity and periods of difficulty. So just remember that the bad times can't last forever. Number 7, make a budget. You've heard it before and you'll hear it again. A budget is the key to building wealth. This old school habit is something that typically only 5% of people do, but that 5% are the ones who are very successful with their money. The truth is that you can't avoid making a budget if you want to become financially independent. Knowing where every single dollar is going is how you're going to make your money do what you want it to do. Even though budgets may seem restricting since you're looking to limit your spending, it's actually much more freeing once you realize how little you have to spend to be happy and how much more you'll feel like you have. Bonus tip, Dave likes to use what's called a zero-based budget, which means that once you subtract your expenses from your income, you're left with zero. This ensures that every single dollar is used to its maximum potential. Number 8, keep investing. It's hard to put your money into the stock market when you know that prices are going down. But this contrarian approach is what many professional investors use. For example, a famous saying from Warren Buffett is to be greedy when others are fearful. In other words, you should invest while others are out of the market. Looking at it from a different perspective, you're essentially buying in the market at a discount, considering that the likelihood of the economy suddenly crashing without going up again is very unlikely. Constantly investing means you'll sometimes get the best value, but you're also ensuring that your money is always being used in the best way possible. Number 9, avoid buy now, pay later options. You've probably seen on some more expensive purchases the option to split the payment into 4 installments. While this can be helpful for some, using it obsessively can actually work against you. For instance, you may think you have more money than you actually do since you only have to pay $250 a month for a $1,000 item. But if you start buying other things, then you're essentially just racking in debt. At the end of the day, whether you pay $250 a month or $1,000 straight up, you have to pay the same amount. Believe it or not, statistics show that there's been an increase of 56% of people using this payment method, and that 78% of millennials use this system. A simple tip to avoid the pitfalls of buy now, pay later is that if you don't have the cash up front to pay it, then you don't have enough. Number 10, budget for inflation. Inflation isn't anything new, but for some of you, it may be new to try and budget through it. For those that don't know, it's a time when you'll have to be more strict with your wants and needs and not let the line get blurred. You want to be firm in knowing that during this time, the most important things to budget for are things you need to survive, like food, electricity, heating, and your home. Anything else can be debated as they are needs. Number 11, have a joint checking account if you're married. Dave Ramsey makes a clear statement through his data that married couples who perform as a team tend to perform significantly better with their finances than those who don't. In other words, when you're married, it's best to combine your income together as one instead of separately. The truth is that it goes far beyond your finances, but also for the health of a marriage. When you're on equal terms with your partner and communicate about more than just finances, you'll shoot towards the same goal, and 2 bodies working for one goal is better than one. As a quick statistic, 79% of millionaires interviewed by Dave say that they work well and closely with their wives. If you want to learn more amazing money tips, subscribe to Investors Weekly. Number 12, don't wait for student loan forgiveness. Waiting to pay off debts is not something you ever hear anyone recommend for your finances. While there seems to be a promise of having your student loans paid off, it's best to focus on your paying it back as if it's not the case. Unfortunately, a lot of plans like this fall through, and if you're banking on getting that money to pay off your loan, it may leave a bad taste in your mouth if it doesn't happen. If you focus on paying off your student loans and they eventually do pass the bill to cover loans, then they'll have to cover less. You'll feel better having done it on your own, and you'll have developed great money skills in the process.